Hello, and welcome to Saturday School. Today is Saturday, September 7th, 2024, and I am super excited to be able to spend some time with you today. Our topic for today is the next 60 days, or days 31 through 60. Let's begin with our quote. The more reflective you are, the more effective you are. And that is by Hall and Cimarral. Let me tell you a little bit about me, Dr. Q, the coach's strategist. I want you to know that I come to you live bearing receipts. I am a 20 plus year educator. I have served in the capacity of teacher, instructional coach, instructional system specialist, which is just another name for instructional coach, building administrator, a professional practice and improvement specialist, and I'm back in the building as a building administrator. I am your CEO and founder of the Culture Academy, LLC. I want you to take a moment to pause and think about our objectives for today. First, we're going to reflect on our first 30 days, also known as days 1 through 30. And secondly, we're going to discuss the components of the next 30 days, which is the focus of today's session, days 31 through 60. Well, we have been talking about a new leader entering a new organization or school community. This new leader is new to the site, new to the families, new to the students, new to the organization, because remember, the Culture Academy just does not deal with just the school community, but also organizations. In our previous session, we talked about days 1 through 30, which was laying the foundation. And since we've laid the foundation, we are ready to strategize and plan. And that is our focus for days 31 through 60. All looking through the lens of a new leader, whether it be, again, for an organization or a school community. So let's take a moment to reflect on our days 1 through 30, or the first 30-day checklist. So since I kind of fit the bill right now as a new leader going into a new community, I want to share, as we go through this, some things that I have encountered in the first 30 days. So, as you can see on our checklist, we were supposed to complete learning and listening tours with all stakeholders. I can honestly say that that would be a check for me. I have had an opportunity to meet all of the key players that are associated with the school community. I have met the key players of the students that are unforgettable, if you will, at our school community, parents as well, and the community stakeholders. The second thing on our checklist is to review data and improvement plans. And so I have had an opportunity to do some data diving, specifically looking at student attendance, looking at student test scores, looking at student social and emotional wellness, because that is super, super important, as well as just looking at the things that were in place before my arrival. I can't say that I've held one-on-one meetings with the staff, but I do daily check-ins to meet with them, get to know a little bit about them, get to know how they have been impacted, what's going well here at the school. And so I'm still working on that, because literally during my arrival, it's been full speed ahead. And so that's definitely something that I want to commit to when we get to the commitments, going and doing one-on-one meetings with staff. I have definitely attended at least 2 to 3 community events thus far, and have identified short-term wins and challenges. So these were some of the pieces to support days 1 through 30, our first 30 days. Now, we are going to talk about some questions that we can use to reflect on our first 30 days. So, again, we're just kind of softening the blow and just talking about what went well, what didn't go well, what our expectations were for the first 30 days. So, here is some reflection questions that you can ask yourself as you think about the first 30 days laying the foundation. So, one of the questions are, what are the key themes that emerge from the listening tours and surveys? One thing that I can say that has emerged for me is the importance of keeping the main thing the main thing. The teachers at the school that I'm servicing or serving as a leader for is really embedded in the cultural practices and the being of the school. They're really committed to that. And so they really are not in the place to want to change much, which we shouldn't be doing right off the bat, but they're really looking at ways to improve. And so that is one of the biggest themes that has emerged during the first 30 days, improvement. Second question, who are your key allies and what relationships need some strengthening? Off the bat, I was able to identify those educators that were going to be with me, for me, and those that may be a little resistant. And so, of course, you continue to strengthen the relationship with those allies so that you can focus more time on those relationships that need to be strengthened or those educators that may need a little bit more push to come around and to be less resistant. And so now that I've identified those key players, I have found some ways to interact with those educators that feel like they're going to be here longer than I will be. So, work in progress. And then the last reflection question is, what systems and processes are working well and which ones need improvement? And as I mentioned before, the educators at the school site that I'm servicing, they're really invested in how things have been in the past and are only looking to make small tweaks. So, as a new leader coming in, it's been my job to ask questions. What are the systems in place? Where do I find the information? How can I get to this? How can I get to that? Is this really working for us? And if it's not, what can we do to make sure that it's working? And so this is how I have spent my first 30 days laying the foundation. All right. So here we are. Now that we've reflected on the first 30 days, we're able to dive into days 31 through 60, or in this case, the next 30 days. So some of the key activities that we should be considering is data analysis, collaboration, and developing short-term goals. And what does that mean? So when we're doing data analysis, we want to analyze student achievement data. We want to look at attendance records, behavior reports, social emotional data to be able to identify trends in areas of needs. We also want to collaborate with the staff once we've identified those data pieces to set SMART goals. And as you remember, SMART goals are specific, measurable, achievable, and or attainable, relevant, and time-bound. These SMART goals should align with our mission, our vision, and our school principles. We also want to develop an action plan and a communication plan. How do we do that, you may ask? Well, we're going to outline the steps to achieve our goals, such as including resource allocation and time for implementation. We want to launch a consistent communication routine with staff and students and the community. And this could look like weekly bulletins, newsletters, announcements, all of the things that is going to help support us clearly communicating with our stakeholders. And that, my friends, is super important and critical to our success. We're also during this time going to be making sure that we're clarifying and sharing the why behind our actions and decisions. By doing this, this helps to foster trust and accountability from all angles, not just the educators, but us as the leaders. During this time too, now that we've taken the time to kind of identify who our key players are, who our allies are, and those that are resistant, we want to start identifying those groups and empowering our team and supporting them with professional and leadership development. What does that look like, you may ask? I'm glad you asked. So we're going to make sure that we're delegating responsibilities to our key leaders and empowering them to take ownership of initiatives. Remember, we can't do this all by ourselves. And the first time we think we can, that's the first sign of us being in trouble. We're also going to take this time to start identify those who want to lead, but just maybe aren't ready to lead. And what we're going to do is we're going to undergird them. We're going to support them. We're going to identify them because we know that they have potential leadership opportunities, and then we're going to give them leadership opportunities. Not only are we just going to throw them into the fire, we're going to make sure that we are coaching and mentoring those folks to greatness. We're also at this time going to make sure that we're identifying our professional development needs. We're going to do some needs assessment. Again, what's going well, what's going not so well. That's one way of collecting data. We're also going to collect anecdotal data. And how are you going to do that? Or how are we going to do that? We're going to do that by visiting classrooms, talking to students, looking at things that's already been done, and making adjustments as needed. We are going to identify and mentor professional teacher leaders and then also form committees so that we can have, again, that accountability and support, that shared leadership where everyone has a voice and everyone is contributing and participating to accomplish our school goals. And lastly, but should have been firstly, we are going to model desired behaviors, or like Dr. Q likes to say, we're going to model the expectations. And how are we going to do that? We're going to lead by example in modeling, collaboration, communication, looking at our school values, looking at how we support school climate and culture, or organizational climate and culture. Because again, this is transferable information that does not just have to work at a school level. We are also going to reinforce our leadership style by being extremely visible, accessible, and supportive. And I'm going to tell you right here, I want to interject a personal story. Coming on board to this new school site, one of the things that was super important to me was to show that I was an invested member of the team. And what did I do? I'm glad you asked. I quickly purchased lots of school colors and school spirit gear to show that I am an ally, that this is how we should take pride and show how we really love our school. One, and here's the thing, not even one, because I was going to say one, but many people notice and even commend me on how committed I have been to wearing the school colors, to wearing the school logo, the emblem, every opportunity that I have. And again, I am super extra, so I've got the shoes and the glasses and the school color down to a science and all the things, but people are watching. And so what happened? By modeling this behavior of showing that I am invested, that I'm here for the long haul, that I'm supportive, that I'm visible, that I'm accessible, and all the things, I'm starting to notice teachers break out their spirit gear. Teachers wearing their school colors. And this wasn't just at this school site. This has happened before in other school sites. It's almost like giving them permission to be invested. And so when you model the desired behaviors, you get the results that you're looking for. And so that's just a little plug, a little teaser to say that it's important to ensure that you are modeling the desired behaviors. So let's talk about our tools and strategies. Here are 3 tools and strategies that we can use during the next 30 days or days 31 through 60. We can use data dashboards and data analysis tools. We can encourage collaborative planning sessions and develop a professional learning plan. So, when we use data dashboards and analysis tools, that helps us to visualize trends and inform decisions. When we encourage collaborative planning sessions and establish professional learning communities, also known as PLCs, we are highly focused on continuous improvement and going through that PDCA, that plan, do, check, act cycle of continuous improvement. And again, we cannot go at this alone. Also, based on the needs that we have found, we can build a professional development plan and schedule opportunities to address identified needs. So those are some tools and strategies that we can use during days 31 through 60. So I'm going to pause here. What have you noticed during the first 30 days that may need some attention? What data points have you seen that may need some attention? What teams within your large team have you seen that may need some attention? As we think about these questions aloud, we want to develop a plan of attack or a plan of action to address those things that we have seen that are going really well. How do we continue to sustain that? And then those things that need some attention. I knew you would have knew that I said that. So, as we are going into days 31 through 60, here is some checklist items that we're going to reflect on at our next session to see how far the progress that we have made. So during days 31 through 60, here are some things that we want to put laser-like focus on. One, we wanted to find 2 to 3 short-term goals aligned with our organization's needs. We have already laid the foundation. We see some things that are glaring that need some attention. We need to go ahead and strategize and plan 2 to 3 goals that are aligned with those needs that we have. We definitely need to create a regular, consistent, and clear communication routine with our staff. So if we haven't done so, this is our opportunity to tighten up our weekly or bi-weekly or monthly, quarterly, however, newsletters, bulletins, whatever way we're going to communicate with our staff, with our team members. We need to make sure that we really hone in on that during days 31 through 60. We want to draft a framework for long-term goals with our leadership team. Remember, we cannot go at it alone. It truly takes a team for us to move forward. We want to also identify those key staff members that we are going to mentor, coach, or empower because they can undergird the work that we're doing. They see the vision. Once you share the vision with them, they run with the vision and they get other people on board. Please do not negate this step. It is so important to create allies on your team. And one way to do that is by taking the initiative and empowering them, mentoring and coaching them to be the leaders that they can be or that they seek to be. And then lastly, we're going to start thinking about an initial evaluation of our initiative. So once we've determined our goals, short-term, long-term, as we think about our checklist and keeping those action items in our mind, we want at the end of days 31 through 60 to be able to reflect on how our next 30 days are going. So some reflection questions that will frame our conversations going forward for the next 30 days or days 31 through 60, is what quick wins have we achieved? Are we effectively communicating with our staff and community? And how are our teams responding to our leadership? So, as we go through the next 31 through 60 days, we want to be able to answer these questions at the end of this cycle. And so it's very important that we take our checklist and our reflection questions to be able to answer, to give an answer, to give an account to these questions or reflection points, so we know where we stand within the next 30 days or days 31 through 60. So here is a short recap of what we talked about today. We talked about strategizing and planning through the lenses of goals, key activities, tools, and strategies. And our scenario that we're carrying through is looking at this from a perspective of a new leader to an organization and school community or school community. At the end of the day, one of the things we have to remember is planning is key. And key stands for kickstart, execute, and yield results. How do we kickstart, you may ask? Glad you did. We kickstart by initiating the journey with a solid foundation and clear objectives. We execute by implementing the plan with precision and commitment. And then we experience the yielded results by achieving the desired outcomes through consistent and focused action. So, friends, for our session today, we reflected on the first 30 days, days 1 through 30, and we also discussed the components of the next 30 days, days 31 through 60. So, as you think about what we shared, what is one key takeaway or insight that resonated with you the most and why? Take a moment to drop that in the chat box and let us know. Well, it would not be the Culture Academy without a call to action. So here are some next steps and commitments for you. Next steps, mark your calendar. Saturday school is happening again, Saturday, October 5th at 9 o'clock a.m. If this means so much to you and these nuggets that are being dropped is something that is really resonating with you and you want more time with the culture strategist herself, aka Dr. Q, that's me, go ahead and book a consultation call with me by using the Calendly link on the screen. Also, please make sure you join and engage with us on all of our social media platforms. And you know, like I say all the time, just don't be a spectator, be a participator as well. Don't be a lurker, don't be a stalker. Continue to engage with us, talk with us, send us messages, amen to the post, do something, engage. And some commitments as a result of our 30 days, 31 through 60 session is commit. Why don't you commit to goal setting? Looking at your key activities, tools, and strategies. Remember, earlier on, I gave you some slides. I gave you a checklist as well as some reflective questions that should help you kind of put the bumpers on as you go through the next 31 through 60. So if you have any questions, of course, let us know in the chat box or the comments. We already talked about our planning is key. That's a package. Another package that we have is our roadmap to success, which is our GPS package. This is where we talk about gathering data and insights, planning objectives and KPIs, strategizing and executing. That's another way that you can get involved by purchasing a package with the Culture Academy LLC. We also want to remind you that we have the 7 R's to Sensational Self-Care Bingo. I know many of us have started back into the school site, but even if you are in the field of not education, self-care is still so important. So please utilize this resource as well as a way for you to kind of make sure that you're taking care of yourself. Remember, you got to put your oxygen mask on first before you help others. Another package that we have here at the Culture Academy is It's a Wrap. We toast to the triumphs, we talk about our lessons learned, and we are future focused. And that is our CPR package: celebrate, plan, and reflect. And if you are an aspiring leader and you still have not landed the job, why have you not contacted the Culture Academy LLC? We have the perfect package for you, the Land the Job package. This package includes resume review, interview prep, and planning for your future once you get the job. As always, we want to thank you so much for your attendance and your engagement and your participation. If you've missed anything that I've said, have no fear, because this is recorded and it's accessible to you on our social media platforms. We are actively involved and can be found on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and X. And if you missed all of that, have no fear, because there is a QR code on the screen that will take you to our digital business card, which also houses the same information of how you can engage with us.